This is All Things Ansys, a podcast from the technical support staff at PADT. Episode 103, our 2021 wrap-up episode. Welcome to our last episode of 2021. I'm Eric Miller, your host for these podcasts and a co-owner at PADT. We started the year 2021 with episode 79, and this is episode 103, meaning we've managed 24 episodes over the year, including our milestone 100th episode. That's not too shabby. A big thanks to you and all of our listeners, Trevor Rubinoff for producing things, and all of our guests throughout the year. 2021 was a far more momentous year than we had hoped, and in many ways we were not expecting. I was looking at the blog post I did for PADT at the end of 2020, where I foolishly said things would be back to normal by April of 2021. Well, I got that wrong. We have not even gotten to the much discussed new normal, and dealing with things as they come seems to be what everyone did and what we can expect well into 2022. It was a good year for Ansys, and I'll go over that after our group discussion, but in general, the consensus seems to be across the Ansys world that most everyone has managed to adapt and even grow over the past 20 months since this all started with the virus. And what amplifies that success is knowing that so many people have been directly affected, either by the disease or by impact from the disease in a negative way. And I'll share a story that I don't think I've shared on the podcast before. As an example, and this is peripherally involved in the Ansys world, we moved the venerable Ansys.org user group, that's an online forum for Ansys users, to a new server. And everything was going fine. Then the guy running the server just kind of stopped responding to requests from the moderators. PADT pays for the site, but we don't moderate it anymore. Then we got an email from the owner apologizing, saying he had come down with COVID and he would get back to us when he felt better. And then we didn't hear anything. And a few weeks later, his wife sent an email letting us know that he had passed away. He was in his early 40s with a family and a thriving business. And he went into the hospital hoping to get better, and he never came out. So over time, she did find a buyer, and things are working better now for the list that we're running there, xansys.org. But the catastrophe showed that even though the odds are quite low for this being a fatal disease, it's really devastating for those that the virus kills. And so even though he was peripherally involved in the Ansys world, our thoughts go out to his family and those people recovering from the impact of him no longer being with us. So once again, I want to express my thankfulness for everyone in the PADT family, the Ansys family, and my own family for making it through another challenging year, and couldn't have done everything without everybody's help. So serious stuff, but overall, we seem to have all done mostly pretty well. So, speaking of the year, we gathered around the virtual meeting table on Microsoft Teams and had a great discussion with about half of our Ansys support team to review what they liked Ansys-wise about 2021, as well as a few predictions for the future. So let's take a listen to that. Greetings, everybody. Here we are in December 10th, the end of 2021. We've been doing this podcast for a few years now, and every year at our last episode, we like to gather together as much of our tech support group as we can to talk about the year in review in the world of Ansys. So I want to thank everybody for joining us once again. Folks are already taking off a little bit, or we had a really important customer meeting this week, and so a few folks that normally join us are busy catching up from being in meetings for 3 days, so they couldn't join us. But we've got a great group, and I'll just go around the virtual room and ask you to introduce yourselves and what you do here at PADT. And on my list, Kang Lee, you're first. Let's know a little bit about you.
Hello, my name is Kang, and I have been at PADT for exactly 1 year.
Oh, congrats.
My background is in low-frequency electromagnetics. So I support customers using tools like AutoCAD, Maxwell, or other similar tools related to electromagnetics in low-frequency area.
Great. A bit of a plug for some of the videos. If you go to our YouTube channel, the PADT INC YouTube channel, you can see some of the amazing videos that he's been creating that show how to use some of these low frequency Ansys electromagnetics tools. And I found them very useful for me to understand them quite a bit better. Miles.
All right. So my name is Miles Adkins. I've been at PADT for 3.5 years, I think, something like that. My background is in fluid dynamics and thermal transport. At PADT, my kind of primary focus has been in system modeling of these thermal fluid networks, primarily using FlowNext simulation environment.
Great, great. And then next on my list is Robert McCatherine. And for those of you that aren't in Tempe, why don't you also let our listeners know where you're calling in from?
Absolutely. Hey, I'm Rob McCatherine. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I've been with PADT for about 3 years as a mechanical application engineer. My background is mainly in structures large and small, and floating and not floating, and all sorts of fun things. So yeah, that's where I land on the mechanical side.
Great, fantastic. Alex Moody.
Oh, hey, my name is Alex Moody. I'm calling in from Knoxville, Tennessee. I've been with PADT for about 2 months as an application engineer in high-frequency electromagnetics. I'm also branching out a little bit and learning about some of the other Ansys products like IcePack.
Great. Excellent. Very good. And then our other Alex, pronounced just slightly different.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, this is Alexander. That's I'm basically with PADT for reaching 3 years in a few months, and then I'm high frequency application engineering lead. So if you have any questions for high frequency, probably can have an answer for you. So reach out.
Great. Yes, definitely one of our experts, and is enjoying the recent snow in Denver. I hear.
Yes, that's where I am. Yep.
Yeah. Joe Woodward.
Hey, this is Joe Woodward. I'm senior mechanical engineer and lead trainer, which means I do a lot of the training, help organize things, but I also specialize in meshing and structural and scripting.
Yeah.
So I think I'm here in Tempe, but I think I've been here 20 years with PADT at this point.
Yeah, fantastic. Good. Ahmed.
Hey, my name is Ahmed. I specialize in anything that is install, licensing, HPC, RSM. So all the fun stuff that you need to do to get to run Ansys, based in Tempe, and I have been with PADT for 7 years.
Great, fantastic. Yeah. And then last on my list, which I can't quite figure out the order, it's not alphabetical at all, is Tom Chadwick.
Hey, this is Tom Chadwick. I'm one of the CFD support engineers here at PADT. I've been here in the Tempe office for going on 8 years now. I think beginning of March or beginning of April, it'll be 8 years.
Great, fantastic. Yeah, we're not quite sure how to count the last 2 years. Was it a full 2 years? Was it 6 years? Was it a quarter of a year? And that's kind of where I want to start the discussion is, for me, 2021 went super fast. It seems like they released Ansys 2021 R1 like 3 months ago, and they released R2 a month ago. It was really compressed for me. So I like to start with, what was your guys' favorite thing that came from Ansys during the last 12 months? And mine was the ZMax acquisition. I'll just start right there and say I'm so excited about that. What do you guys think?
I'll jump in first. Mine was the multi-stage cyclic symmetry.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that for a long time, so that you can do different sector counts for different stages and merge all these pieces together. It's going to be really cool.
And is that fully released or beta, or I haven't had time to really dig into it?
Yeah, I'm still digging into it, but it's fully released.
Okay, good.
And there's support in both mechanical and mechanical APDL.
Yeah. And the reason why we're so excited about that, a little bit of history, a lot of us here at PADT, including all three founders, came from what's now Honeywell engines. And we spent a lot of time wanting to be able to model multiple stages in a jet engine where the blade count is not, evenly divisible by the same number, right? So if you do a wedge that's 1/50th and a wedge that's 1/37th, how do you hook those together and do one analysis? We spent a lot of time thinking about it and never figured it out, but somebody at Ansys did. So we're really excited about being able to do full rotor simulation without modeling every single blade.
Right, but even more than that, it's gear analysis where you have separate gears that are different tooth counts. Maybe they have other features on the gear itself that are different sector counts along with the teeth. So things like that.
Anything that rotates that's got different wedge sizes for if you break it up into cyclic symmetry. So a lot of cool applications. So we'll look forward to learning more about that. I agree with you. That's been a long time coming. It's really cool. And the CFD guys have had it for a little while. But now we can do it with the structural side of things. So that's amazing. Anybody else have something they're excited about?
From the CFD side, the big thing was this year they made an arrangement with the channel partner down in South America that's developed a tool called Rocky, that allows them to do particulate flows of a wide variety of different types of things. And they've integrated it with Ansys now, so you can connect it to all the other tools and do fluids and particle interactions, particles and structures, so you can do wear effects on mechanical objects, gears, rotating drums, things like that. You can model the effects of the particles rubbing on things. So it's got a lot of capability, and it is fully integrated with Workbench now, so you can tie it in with all the other applications.
And the good news is I was just talking to them last week, and we're going to get them on the schedule for early next year to give us an update on what's new in Rocky. So we'll make sure we invite you to that one as well.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
There's a lot of cool stuff coming.
Yep.
Cool. Anybody else got something they're excited about?
Yeah, this is Rob over here, and I'm been excited about the improvements to like batch connections and topology for shell models within mechanical, because it's everything I wanted to have a decade ago brought in. And so when I was working on very large structural models doing shells, sometimes you get stuff in from the drafting department or whatever that's not quite connected or connected through, and now the improvement to the batch connections is such that Ansys will hunt through for those things based on a tolerance and then just attach everything together for you, so you don't have to go back and hunt for these guys as much as you used to at all. And additionally, with that batch connection improvement is the introduction of the that old weld extension that's now been fully incorporated in. It was incorporated in, I think it was a beta feature in last summer's update, and then it's just been worked on throughout this year. So it's definitely made some really long strides in terms of improvements, and they keep on adding or wanting to add different types of welds to it. So that's good stuff.
Excellent. Yeah, really upping the game with the large structure simulation for Ansys. Yeah, much better. Cool. Anybody else have something that?
Let's bring back the nerdiness level back to the surface.
Good. Excellent.
A couple of things. The biggest thing that I've noticed last year was cloud and elastic licensing gear in terms of support. We were spending hours and hours and hours trying to get people up and running with Elastic and cloud. And I think Ansys has done enough refinement, and both users and support staff have learned enough that cloud and Elastic is no longer, hit the SOS button, in terms of support. And it's working a lot better. And, customers are getting more out of the cloud and the Elastic than they did previously, which is it's good. It's refreshing to get something that works.
Yeah.
The other bit is Ansys Minerva, which is the simulation data management workflow kind of master tool. They released the latest version this year, the R2 version, and it's almost a complete rewrite in terms of installation, implementation, things like that, which heavily simplifies rolling it out. The engineering part is still, it's like trying to herd cats, getting engineers to use a workflow tool. But on the back end, the IT part, they simplified it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good news. We've been waiting for Minerva to mature quite a bit, and I'm glad to hear that it's easier to install and stuff. And if people listening haven't tried it yet, it's kind of like your PLM tool for your CAD system, but for engineering data and much more workflow based. And we're pretty excited about it. It's based on an open source kernel that's fairly well proven. And I'm glad to hear that the installation is better as well. That's really good news.
But it doesn't replace your PLM.
No, it works with your PLM.
Integrates with the PLM.
Yep.
Yeah.
So your simulation is different than CAD files. If you've ever tried to use a CAD PLM to do simulation, you know that. And so this is really oriented towards what we need as simulation users. Probably. Let me know, Ahmed, if you want to come on and talk about it, and anybody else that wants to join us. I think it's time to really dig into what it does and what it doesn't do, and people need to start taking a look at it. So exciting stuff. Cool.
And this come here from the ADT, Ansys Electronics side.
Yeah.
So last year, the mechanical was included as a better option in ADT, and this year, it is officially included in the ADT interface. So I feel that this is convenient for electrical engineers, which is friendly for electrical engineers to use, and easier to do the couplings between electromagnetic and mechanical.
Good.
And I do feel that this is also the trend for the future, that the multi-physics coupling will be easier and easier.
Really important stuff. Yeah, that's so true. Good. Like to hear that. And most of the stuff we do in low frequency is very heavily integrated with mechanical, right? You're actuating something or generating torque or pulling energy with the generator. So it's really important stuff. Yeah. Cool. Good. Anything on the HFSS side that anybody wants to point out?
Yeah, well, once I heard, Colin said electromagnetics, so that triggered me to, wake up, right?
Oh no, Alexander's going to be on here for hours now.
Sorry.
I'm saving
I'm saving the best for last. I mean, overall, I think HFSS, and by HFSS, I guess we're going to just say high frequency. So what I really enjoyed seeing this year, that, well, first of all, there is now 3D cable solution. Is actually really active, really good solution. Everybody's happy about that. So it's called EMA 3D. It's a partnership at this point. So, but still, we actually selling that too. So that's one of the best things in the market at this point. They also start doing some charge simulation. So it's like if you have some aircraft or satellite, up in the air, and this solution charge can actually do some simulation for, well, how it will behave if you're gonna hit by lightning, for example, strike by lightning. So it's something unique. It's not too many people out there who does that kind of stuff. But that's not the only excitement, actually. The more fun thing is the photonics, and this whole high frequency, transmission of data basically comes in. So I think this year Ansys kind of basically start paying attention a lot more into photonics, and that's when your favorite Eric, your favorite ZMax came aboard. So yeah, I'm building the little bridge for you to start talking about ZMax now. But Yeah, I think that's one of the best things. Like we started thinking about photonics, and that's what's high frequency really means, because well, whatever we do in electromagnetics high frequency, that's what you can call it 100 gigahertz, maybe up to 200, 300 gigahertz. But now with photonics, we can actually embark on terahertz and things like that. So yeah, so higher and higher.
Yeah, it's really, really cool, all the stuff that we can do. And the cabling is something that I think we want to really pay attention to and talk about. In fact, we had a design project that had a cabling problem, and if we had had those, it's an older design, if we had those tools when we did the older design, I think we could have avoided those problems. So on the redesign, yeah.
So yeah, a quick one. I'm just saying, no one usually care about the cables, because they used to don't really worry about that by saying, oh, it's just the cable is shielded, everything is fine. Well, it's not. It's never.
It's not. And a field revealed problem was turned out to be traced to RF leakage, and it's on the redesign, and hopefully we'll be able to call you in to take a look at a couple different options. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything they want to talk about from the year gone past before we take out our crystal balls? Yeah, go ahead.
There you go. The integration of Python.
Oh yeah.
Into everything.
Yes.
They've released these new Python modules, PyAnsys, PyMAPDL, PyADT, just to be able to set up a Python script and have Ansys running in the background. To be able to integrate different, all these different tools in a scripting format. It's just going to be awesome.
Yeah, very exciting, and really taking it to the next level. Yeah,
yeah, and it's all open source. They're releasing it on GitHub, so it's the community will expand things rather quickly, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to talk more about that as well. I'm actually making a list for future episodes. You guys are coming up with some good stuff to dig into. And I got tricked by the Pi. Is it PyADT?
PyAEDT, yeah.
EDT, and I thought it was a kind of a typo for PADT, and I realized that no, it's the Python interface for the electronic desktop products, but it's pretty cool, and expect to see some amazing things to come from users. I mean, you've always been able to do some customization, but now they literally have opened it up. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's take out those crystal balls and see. For multiple years, I was predicting the acquisition of ZMax, and so I finally got one right. I think it's the only one I've ever gotten right on prediction.
Well, if you just pick a company and just wait long enough, we'll probably get acquired.
Buy it. But yeah, I mean, thinking about features that are coming down the road that you'd like to see or expect to see, or maybe the next acquisition. I don't know that there's anybody big out there for them to acquire anymore. So I'm expecting more little niche players. But anybody got any thoughts about the next year or the years beyond?
Well, Joe already took one that I was going to mention, which was I saw some presentations this week talking about the Python integration in Fluent, and they're talking about the ability to script in Fluent to be able to do everything, meshing, job submission to a remote cluster, everything all from a Python script. And it made my head spin thinking about all the things that people could do with customized workflows. And I mean, they were showing how you could even modify create your own custom interface. So it was no longer Workbench. Now it's whatever you want it to be is what it's going to be. So you could create an interface that you'll be able to create an interface that's custom to your workflow. So that should simplify things for the bigger companies that do the same kinds of work over and over again.
Right.
Investing a little bit of effort up front to be able to set up a custom workflow, and you can hand it to just about anybody and say, okay, we need you to analyze this new product. here's the workflow, click the buttons and it'll solve and get you the answers you need. And, it has all the results and everything, so you can customize, Campbell diagrams, modal frequency plots, performance, all kinds of things like that. You can customize it and get all those plots and create reports and do all this all automated with a single, you just give it the geometry and say go, and it should be able to go and do whatever you want it to do. And that's going to be amazing.
Yeah. It's not just being able to send commands to Fluent or send commands to MAPDL. It's also just pulling that data back and being able to use Python to manipulate the data, with all the different modules, SciPy and plotting modules and things, to be able to deal with all that data outside the code as well as inside.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that I'm going to predict, not in the near term, but the longer term with this Ansys Python stuff, is there's a lot of data analytics built into, and artificial intelligence built into Python libraries. And I wonder if we're going to start seeing people use Ansys simulation more to do machine learning.
Right. That's what I was.
Yeah. I think we're going to see that more and more, because right now it's kind of a pain to hook it up to your machine learning. But with these Python hooks, it's really going to be easy.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know. That's going to, I'm still not convinced that it's going to, that's what, creating all this data and then using machine learning. I got to understand the use cases better. But there sure are a lot of people that want to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's not going to put us out of jobs for quite some time.
Nope. And it's the whole Internet of Things. Of Things that people, like you said, data analytics. It's going to be getting all the performance data from all of your 5,000 products out there and being able to predict what the performance. I can remember working at GE a lot of years ago, and they were very big into hooking sensors onto all of their industrial gas turbines to measure performance and measure, fuel quality going into the engine, and measuring all kinds of performance numbers and temperatures and things like that, and doing predictive mapping. So you could tell the customer, okay, your engine is reaching 90% life on this part. It's time to replace that part. Right. And scheduling all that stuff and optimizing things like that. It's going to be amazing what you could do with that.
So definitely look for that. What else do you guys see coming down the pipe or want to see?
I've been interested. Miles was showing me the other day a model he's working on where they're connecting Fluent into the 1D Flonex tool and doing predictions of transient behavior of systems, where you can model the system in Flonex in a transient way, and then use that as inputs into Fluent and do some really serious prediction. And that's going to be, I think that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's super exciting. So yeah, the integration between Flonex and the Ansys product line has been around for a while. And I was trying to get an actual date on it, but I know, we're talking about things that happened in the last year. Flonex is a technology partner with Ansys now, which is exciting, and it's kind of cool to see how that integration is going to further evolve.
I predict the next acquisition.
It's going to be Flonex. I was just going to say the same thing. I was wondering when they're going to keep working to tighten that relationship down to the point where Flonex becomes a product that they integrate
some
within.
Of these partner tools, when does it make sense to just make it an Ansys product rather than paying royalties? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good point. I think Motion's another one. A Korean company actually writes it, right? I can't remember if they acquired them yet or not, but MotorCAD, another one. Yep. Good point. What else? Anything on the high frequency side you guys are predicting or hoping for?
Well, yeah, I would just say that at high frequency for sure, you can see the development happening, and we're pushing the limits of the frequency now, right? So it's photonics. So
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be much more purchases in photonics, because at this point, Lumerica and ZMax will be sufficient for us to chew on for at least a couple of years to make things integrated perfectly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, actually, at this point, there's so much stuff right now in high frequency that it's yeah, it will take a while to put everything together in a like really solid fashion. So the thing which I was thinking about, and probably my prediction going to be just like yours, Eric, about ZMax, not because it's going to happen, but because it's going to take forever to happen. So I'm still in the same, pharmaceutical and biology kind of side of things.
Yes.
Because last year I think I had the same prediction that it's supposed to move into the pharmaceutical science. But yeah, now with the COVID being already sort of past, sort of present, I don't know, it's somewhere here. But yeah, it still definitely brings a lot of more companies who understands now the value of simulation being a lot more, much faster and much cleaner in this case, rather than just making 3-5 year cycle to develop some drug. So like in this case, it's I'm pretty sure people start now looking around like, actually, yeah, let's do the simulation first. So I'm waiting for pharmaceutical to kick in into this mix.
Agreed.
Of,
Yeah, I think we did talk about it in a previous episode, so we'll just keep mentioning that until it happens.
Yes, that's the strategy.
I would like to see it for a lot of different reasons, pharmaceutical being one, but there's a lot of other chemical processes that, other than combustion, which we can do, that we'd love to see. Yeah, really good point. Cool.
One thought that, again, as a simulation outsider, that comes across, and this is a pattern that I've seen over the past 8 years with PADT, and it's basically, how do you maintain and train the new engineers versus all the turnover that's happening, especially with the pandemic. A lot of people are retiring, or a lot of people are switching careers. How do you increase efficiency, improve the turnaround time on simulations, and how to get the new engineers productive? And one of these things that I've seen personally is one of our bigger customers requesting a reevaluation of Ansys RSM to simplify submitting to the cluster. They were like, oh, these old timers, they'll never leave their ways. All of them love the Linux command line, writing scripts and things like that. But when you get new hires who are trying to grasp 50,000 different concepts at the same time, simplifying simulation is front and center. And maybe that can be seen with the discovery products as well.
Right. It's interesting because not only are we seeing older users retire, but the companies tend to want their younger employees to do 12 things, right? I guess my point is specialization that existed in the 80s and 90s when Ansys simulation was really growing and coming into its own is gone, right? It's not, there just aren't that many specialists anymore, and everybody's got to do 12 different things. So what you're talking about is really important.
Yeah, well, I'll be mentioned since Ahmed mentioned discovery. And so discovery is gaining some more improvements next year, and I'm really hoping everything makes it in because as we know before, discovery is a amalgamation of Discovery Live and Discovery AIM, and AIM had a lot of other features that were kind of standard to other flagship solvers. So I've been told that we should see the ability to do shell modeling in 22R1, and then in 22R2 maybe there's beams. So they're going to be adding in beam and shell modeling again to Discovery, but I'm on the refined mode. So on the stage it utilizes the flagships, and then I pinged somebody about all the old polyflow stuff that was in there, and I keep on getting yeses and nos, so we'll see about that. Hopefully that, because I know, because I know one of the main draws to AIM was that people could get that polyflow functionality along with all the other regular mechanical thermal stuff they needed. So it really helped people with that, and we had a few customers that used it for that. So hopefully that's coming back in.
Good point. I forgot all about that. Yeah, polyflow is for those that don't know, it's a tool that does thermal plastic simulation, so extrusion and vacuum forming and blow molding and things like that. And they put it in Ansys AIM as a modern interface, and then we're moving away from Ansys AIM. So it'll be good to see it in Discovery. That'll be nice. Good. Anything else? Any parting shots before we move on out there? I'm expecting more system stuff and more digital twin. The ability to do these large virtual mock-ups and more simplified models, and that's another thing I mention every year because it happens every year. So I'll also say the solvers will get faster next year because every year they make the solvers faster. So I'll sign up for that. I don't know how they're going to solve the problem of not being able to buy a GPU anymore because of all the Bitcoin mining. But if you do have one, there'll probably be some enhancements along GPU as well. But we've stopped buying them here at PADT because they're 4x the normal price, and we just can't justify that. Well, I want to finish up by thanking all you guys and those that couldn't make it for once again being the best support team out there in the Ansys world and helping our users be productive. And we had different challenges in 2021 than we did in 2020, but we still had a lot of unique challenges. And I suspect that 2022 is not going to be quote unquote normal. And I'm not going to use the term new normal because I don't know what that is, but I look forward to getting through it with you guys. So I want to thank you for another great year, and looking forward to the future.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All
right, we'll talk. Everybody have a great holiday break, and we'll see you in January. A big shout out to everyone in the discussion and the rest of the team that were too busy to join us, especially Ted and Doug, who lead the team. Some of you don't know that we reorganized the support team, and Ted moved up to become the director of simulation support instead of just the manager, and he's still the acting manager of what we call post-sale support, while Doug Otis stepped up to take over as the manager of pre-sales. I've been looking at the stats for the year, and it's resulted in an even better level of support to our existing customers, with a little bit of focus there, and a fantastic assistance to our sales team and prospective customers who are learning about the Ansys solutions and need our technical help in getting to know the products before they buy them. So a big change in the technical support team in 2021 for the better, and of course we're also actually adding folks, as you met some of them on that interview. This episode's commercial is simple. We hope to work with you and your company in 2022. That could be around Ansys, with PADT supplying with your Ansys tools, support, training, or simulation consulting, or perhaps you need a Stratasys or EOS 3D printer, or need some parts 3D printed by our fantastic prototyping team at PADT. Maybe you will need optical scanning, or you will reach out to our product development team for assistance with design issues. Whatever it is you need, reach out to info@padtinc.com and let us know how we can help. Let's take one more look at the Ansys stock before the end of the year. It's not done. There's 3 more weeks left in the year, so who the heck knows what's going to happen by the end of the year. But right now, Ansys is up, finishing the week in December 10th, on December 10th at $398.45 a share for the ANSS stock. That's up 9.52% for the year. And the S&P 500 in comparison is up 25% for the year. We'll dive deeper into these numbers in our first episode in 2022 after the market is closed for the year, and we can see how they did overall. It's a slow news time out there, so there really is no Ansys news or any PADT news to report, but this does give us a chance to really talk about what's going on in the Ansys world in 2021. What's the news and review? So let's take a look at that. The 2021 started with announcing the 6 winners of the 2020. I'm getting confused in all these numbers here. Hopefully I'm getting them right. So we're talking about 2021, and this is an announcement of the 6 winners for the 2020 Artist Simulation Contest. And if you remember that, it was pretty cool. So this is a contest they had where they asked people to submit results from their simulations, and they did a little art contest, and some really amazing things were shown in that. Also in January, the HFSS team announced Mesh Fusion, which we talked about here on the podcast, and it changed the way people build high-frequency electromagnetic models. A major change in a wonderful way, a much better way to do things and to deal with complicated geometry. So that was a big announcement at the beginning of the year. Then Fast Company put Ansys on their list of the world's most innovative companies for 2021, and that was in March. And a topic we covered here on the podcast was then the partnership with ESSS, which is the channel partner down in South America and Central America, that integrates Rocky DEM into the Ansys and also allows people to buy Rocky from their Ansys provider. If you remember, Rocky DEM is a discrete element modeling tool that allows you to basically model lots of little particles or big particles and how they interact with each other. Very cool tool. And that was in April that announcement came, and we've seen some great progress there as well. We'll probably talk to them again in 2022. Then in May, Ansys acquired a company called Phoenix Integration, and they're the premier model-based engineering tool on the market. And we're starting to see that get integrated closer to the Ansys tool, and we should see more in this coming year as well. But if you're a systems modeling person, you got excited about that. July also saw the launch of a free student version of the Ansys electronic desktop. So the Ansys CFD products and mechanical products have been available to students for quite some time, and they needed to make some changes to the infrastructure in Ansys electronic desktop to get it to where they could do a free student version, and that's been done. And so that came out in July. So you'll see lots and lots of people, students now learning HFSS as part of their schooling now, which is great. Then Fast Company came back in August and also added Ansys to another list. This was the 100 best places to work for innovators, and I totally agree with that. Having had the chance to work with the innovators at Ansys, yeah, it is a great place to work if you're that kind of person. Then the big news for the year happened. It was kind of the last big news story at the end of August, and Ansys announced its acquisition of Zemax, which we've talked about until the cows come home. So I won't belabor that point anymore. There were a lot of other news stories in the Ansys world during the year. Most of them were about new partnerships with different tools, with universities, with customers, some awards from customers, things like that. So if you go to the news site on the Ansys website, you can learn more about all the other things that happened. Blog-wise, there are 3 articles worth mentioning for folks that care about such things. The first actually is kind of news. It's on the Ansys blog, and it's that 2 million student versions of Ansys have been downloaded so far. So that's a lot. I bet those HFSS versions had a little bit to do with that big jump. I remember how long ago, but it wasn't too long ago that we talked about hitting that 1 million mark. So that's a lot of students learning and using Ansys in their schooling. So fantastic. You can get the details on the post on the Ansys blog. Another one that I think is worth looking at is called Ansys Fluent Helps Aeronautica Militares. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and my accent is horrible. Testing campaigns take flight. And it's about how the Italian Air Force is leveraging simulation, and specifically how they included using Fluent to model stores deployment. So that's, those extra gas tanks that hang off the wings, and when they're empty, they drop them, and they're kind of light, so they can hit the plane and cause a lot of damage. So modeling that was really critical. They also covered how Fluent is using it to make testing better. So they're using Fluent to help design their testing. And one of my favorite topics in CFD right now, they are also starting to use Fluent for designing new hypersonic systems. So a great look at how an venerable Air Force is using the Ansys products, Fluent products specifically, to help be more prepared. And my last article is also about Fluent that I recommend. it's kind of the title explains it. It's called Top 6 New Ansys Fluent Features in 2021. I won't tell you what they picked, but this is what the tech support team at Ansys chose for their favorite 6 new Fluent features, which is applicable to what we talked about today on the podcast. Now, as far as highlights for PADT in 2021, I just published a blog post on that. So if you go to the PADT website and go to our blog, you'll see it near the top. It's the 2021 in review. And we had a lot of news throughout the year, and including the promotions I talked about a little bit earlier, new people, new capabilities, some SBIR wins, some really cool stuff. So check that out. We got no events planned through the end of the year, although I will point out that one of the first events of the year is going to be Arizona Photonics Days down in Tucson, Arizona. This is a big national, it's not a regional event so much as a national and sometimes international. We get folks from all over the world that show up for that. If you don't know, Tucson is kind of one of the world centers for optics and photonics because of the University of Arizona's program, as well as many of the companies that are down in Tucson. So it's my favorite starting event for the year. I love it. A lot of smart people talking about some cool stuff in optics. And of course, we'll be there talking about the Ansys optical tools, as well as how we use 3D printing to support people designing optical and photonic systems. So a lot of fun, and always good to catch up with those folks. And it's live and not virtual this year, which I'm very excited about. So on that note, it's a wrap for 2021. Thank you again for making Ansys PADT and our little podcast a part of your year. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter to keep up on events with the PADT world at www.padtinc.com/opt-in. And please spread the word. Please subscribe to the podcast and let people know about it. And as always, never hesitate to reach out. Thank you for joining us for the All Things Ansys podcast, episode 103. As a reminder, this podcast is not affiliated in any way with Ansys Inc., and the opinions expressed are those of the people on the show only and not of their current or former employers. For more information, visit www.padtinc.com/blog, and please share your thoughts and questions through an email to podcast@padtinc.com. See you next time and next year.